Hi, welcome to this demo for independent schools on how we can help you with Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. So these are some of the typical challenges we come across in independent schools. So just to start off, I guess one of the most common ones is there's a lot of email traffic. Schools are missing that authoritative news source where they can publish information and resources to the school as a whole, as well as individual departments. Collaboration across different departments in a school can be quite difficult as well. Some of the challenges that teachers and SLT face is that increased workload, when actually the technology should be supporting them reduce their workload and making things much easier and higher quality. We tend to find this happens with things like class teams. You might teach 4 different class teams every academic year, and if you upload your resources 4 times every year, that means you've got duplication. Your head of department can't keep track of the quality of those resources because they're in lots of different locations. And it means it's extra workload for the teacher by reusing different versions of the same resources. For SLT, they can't keep track of the quality of those resources because they're in lots of different places. They don't always have access to everyone's class teams, which makes their job a lot more difficult. They can't measure and see how well assignments are being used across the school either. And as with all technologies, sometimes there's only a small percentage of staff actually using the solution. So it's really important that you drive user adoption in the school to make it worthwhile. So at Cloud Design Box, we try and make it as simple as possible so teachers can just turn up and teach. Everything is set up for them. And we do that by automating all of the classes, the subjects and the departments across the school, along with other time-saving features. But we also support your long-term strategy with ongoing support and training. We're a Microsoft Global Training Partner, so we can help you get teachers gain their Microsoft Educator badges and also their CPD certificates while gaining some experience using the platform. So even after the project's been completed, we're here to support you all year round. Our customers stay with us because we're here to help them, not just from a technical perspective with unlimited technical support for a technical lead at the school, but we also provide unlimited teaching and learning support for a teaching and learning lead at the school, which might just be a case of, how do I use this Microsoft Learning Accelerator in the classroom? And we can give some advice on that. So the product we're going to have a look at today, it's all about centralizing resources, meaning that teachers can share their resources and reuse them in all their classes every academic year. Department leaders can check the quality of a resource because it's in a single central location, saving them time not having to micromanage individual classes. Department leaders, they can check that work's being set by teachers using our analytic dashboard. They can also look up a student they don't teach and see what assignments they have set and what their progress is. We provide a SharePoint intranet so you can publish news and resources to the whole school really quickly and easily. We make SharePoint and Teams really easy to use by providing a simple interface. But our focus really is on that user adoption. We know that changing everything overnight can overwhelm some teachers, so we work with you to create that long-term plan to introduce it over the long term. And we're here to help support you with that user adoption over the years that you're with us. We work with a large number of independent schools across the UK. Here's some of them. You can go on our YouTube page and you can check out some of the interviews we do with some leaders at independent schools across the UK and internationally, and we interview them, we find out what their challenges are and find out how they've got good user adoption in their schools. So it's a nice free resource. If you ever get a chance, check out the YouTube pages. We've put some quotes on here as well from some of our case studies that are also on our website. So before we jump into the demo, I'll show you the quick timeline and process of how we get you onboarded. So once we get you started, we set up a planning team. We invite you in. That's in Microsoft Teams 2. And we set up an introduction meeting with our onboarding lead, and they will take you through the process and all the different steps. Once we've done that, we've set up your sites, we'll do a technical handover to your technical team so they can understand what's been set up and how to manage it. And we'll do a separate teaching and learning handover to your teaching and learning leaders. And this will be focused very much on education frameworks and how you use Microsoft Teams in the classroom. After that, you've got ongoing support from us and the CPD certified training with a number of different courses available for your teachers. So this will probably be rolled out similar to the rest of your digital strategy. And again, we're here to support you along that journey. So it might be the case that you want to communicate that vision to the school. Where do you want to be in a year's time, 2 years' time? What are the benefits to the students and the teachers? Give people ownership over that project. So it's not just about a technical project, it's very much about making sure curriculum leaders are involved in that process and have some ownership over it. And have that long-term plan and milestone dates in place. It might be the case you roll it out over an academic year, where the first term you're using both your old system and your new system side by side. The next term you make your old system read-only, so there's no panic, no one's lost anything, but all new stuff goes into a new system, and then eventually you have a date to switch that off. So it's about bringing people forwards without overwhelming them. And during that process, you need to support staff with some training. So we're CPD certified Microsoft Global Training Partner, and staff can earn their Microsoft Educator badges and their CPD certificates from attending those sessions. But it's really important that you measure the success after those. There might be some other barriers to using it in the classroom, such as internet connection, devices, etc. So it's really important to feed that back into your digital strategy and keep moving forwards with that. So let's jump into a demonstration. So I'm going to start off in SharePoint, but everything you see here today is available in both SharePoint and Teams. And we'll show you what this looks like in the Teams interface shortly. So this is our school homepage, Cloud Academy. And on this homepage, this is a landing page for everyone, but news and information is personalised for the individual. So as I scroll down this page, I've got news roundup from around the school. So if I'm a history student, I might see some history news items here. If I'm not, then I won't see that news item. I can only see what I have access to when we provision these sites. The same with staff news items, only staff can see those items. We've got word of the day on here, we've got assignments that feed in from Microsoft Teams, and we've got our own class teams that we are a member of, this particular person, and some useful blog posts. But the idea is that this is just a starting point for you. You can edit these pages, you can customize them. It sits inside your tenant, so you can personalize these sites, and we give you the training and support on how to do that and how to make these pages look great. Across the top, you've got the school logo and the menu, and this gives me access to see all the different sites that I have access to. So again, it's personalized for me. And just sort of going left to right to explain the different types of sites and teams that you might have. We'll start off with communication. So communication sites are a great way of publishing news and information to wide audiences across the school. So for example, you might have a library site. The library team might look after it. They might put things on like, Book of the Week and Countdown to World Book Day. But then we might also have more of a document focused site, such as a staff room, staff portal. And on here we might have policies, staff handbooks. We might have a daily or weekly lunch rota or staff briefing. We might have some staff-only news on here. And again, might have some guides on here for them. But again, this is just a starting point. You can personalize this. You can add whatever content you want onto these pages. So we might also have some collaboration teams. And these are teams of people that work together outside of the curriculum. So for example, you might have a data team, and only the data team will be able to see this link. And this is a place where they can go to collaborate and to work together on a daily basis. So in the data team, I can see all the different teams channels in here. I can go into the exam analysis channel, and I can work on those documents in here. But I can also open up Microsoft Teams. You might have some of these teams already set up. We could bring them into this platform. And inside Teams, you can open the site in SharePoint. So SharePoint's got the advanced document management features, and Teams has the advanced communication and collaboration features. So they both work hand in hand. So those are your collaboration teams. They're effectively replacing any shared drives that you might have traditionally had on-premise as well, moving it into the cloud. You've then got your subjects, departments and classes, and these are automated from your MIS data. We support all UK MIS systems. You can find a list on our website. So it would automatically create your class teams. You might already have a third party doing that as well, and we can potentially work with them and use those teams. And these teams get created every academic year. Then at the end of the academic year, they get archived off, and you get a new set created for the new academic year. And that's what happens with the rollover process in Microsoft School Data Sync. Now, one of the problems with that is if I teach 4 different history classes every single academic year, it means I'm uploading my resources several times in lots of different places. I've got different versions in different places. My head of department doesn't know the quality of resources that I'm using in the classroom because it's all scattered all over the place, different versions in different places. I've got a lot of duplication. We're not controlling the quality of those resources either. And it's just creating extra workload for the teacher. So what we do is we automatically create subject sites, and these get created automatically from your MIS data. And again, it's per size for the individual, so I can only see the subjects that I teach, that I'm enrolled on. There is an all subjects area where teachers can go in and they can cover another lesson. But if I go into the history site, you can see that I've got a staff only area that only staff can see, and this is actually Teams channels as well, and a staff only team, so staff can communicate and collaborate in Teams as well. But then there's also some student facing resource libraries, and these are automatically security trimmed based on the data in your MIS. So if I was a student in year 11, I can go back and I can revise back from previous academic years, but I can't see any age inappropriate content like year 12 or year 13. And if I go into one of these into one of these year group folders, I can create my own folder structure in here. And what we do is we add on some education specific tagging, which is completely optional, but we definitely recommend it as good practice. So that when you're searching this library, when students are independently learning and they're looking for, Elizabethan England, this will come back in the search results. Now, search is really good out of the box anyway. It will look inside the documents as well as the titles of them, so it's already intelligent. But if I wanted to tag them with Key Stage and Exam Board, it makes it easier to find those resources. So I could look for Elizabethan AQA, Key Stage 4, and it will drill down into those resources and make it easier to discover them. So in addition to subjects, there's also departments, and these are staff-only areas that only staff can see. And again, it's automatically populated. So if you're a history teacher, geography teacher, RE teacher, you'll automatically be added into the humanities staff team. And this is a place where you can have your departmental meetings. You can do some line management in here, appraisals, some CPD, and it's a space for that department to come together and work together across the school. So going into the classes, we provide an easy way to jump into those class teams really quickly and easily through our class dashboard, and you can see all the classes that I teach because I'm logged in as a teacher. If I was a student, I'll see all the classes that I'm a member of. And what you'll see here is one of the issues that sometimes people have is during that rollover process, I might need to grab something or view an assignment from a previous academic year. Well, you can do that here with our time machine option. I can go back in time and I can see any archive teams from a previous academic year. So it's really quick and easy to access those resources. So if I go into one of the classes here, for example, this history class, year 11 set 1 class, I can see all the students, the photos come from the MIS, and I can jump straight into that area within that specific class team. So I can open up the class team. This will open up Microsoft Teams and go straight into that particular class. And I'll assume you already have seen Teams. If not, check out some of our other videos. But I'll just show you some of the extra stuff that we add into these teams. So as I mentioned earlier, you might have 200 different history classes across the school, but you don't want to be uploading your resources 200 times. So what we automatically do is we add a tab onto these teams into those centralized areas. That could be year group based, it could be course based, GCSE resources, and those are there permanently for all those students who take history. And they're automatically added. So as a department, you can put your resources centrally, you can manage them centrally, you can check the quality of them centrally. And as a teacher, you're reducing your workload by not having to upload and have different versions of these in different places. Now, you may have differentiation you want to do with these resources. That's absolutely fine. I could copy this resource straight into the class team and use that as my starting point. But I might also want to share some of those differentiated resources back into the pots so we can reuse them, such as advanced resources, beginner resources, into that central resource area. Some of the other things that we add into these class teams is we create a student folder for every student in the class. And this is a place where they can just drop off some work. It's a bit of a Dropbox for them. The student can only see their own folder, but as a teacher, I can see everybody's. And they may want to use this for things like media projects or PowerPoint presentations, stuff that might not fit into class notebooks, it might not be written work, it might not fit into assignments because it's not assessed work, but this is another place where some departments might find it useful to use as a drop-off area for those students. And if you're using assignments or classwork features inside Microsoft Teams, when you come to create those assignments, you can always use resources from those centralized resource areas by just going to Attach and Teams. And because we created that history site as a team as well, it means I can go into that history team and I can grab one of those centralized resources and reuse it in my assignments. Again, saving you time and saving you time having to sort of mess around and download and upload a resource. You can just grab it straight from that central part and reuse it. I know that as a head of department, some of your complaints with Teams might be the fact that you don't get good visibility across all the different classes in your department. And that sometimes means that people ask to be in all the English teams or all the history teams. And that can be a really bad idea because you have hundreds of notifications everywhere. So what we do is we try and find some solutions for you to be able to access those resources, but do it really quickly and easily. So we have our own admin portal, and inside here you've got lots of tools to help you. One of those is the assignment analytics, and this gives me a good view of who's setting assignments, which classes have assignments, which subjects are using it really well. You could use this for user adoption to see how well the whole school's using assignments in general, and then focus your CPD training on the right people. I can drill down into these areas, into these subjects, and I can see how well individual classes within that subject are using it. And I can drill down into that individual class and I can see what assignments they've set, when they were created and when they do. And if you're maybe a head of year or head of department or a form tutor or a housemaster and you want to look up an individual student, see how they're getting on at school, there's also the student assignment search. And the great thing about this tool is I can look up a student and I can see all their work across all of their classes, even classes that I don't teach. I'll be able to see inside this assignment lookup tool. And I can open up one of those assignments and I can see this assignment was set by this teacher. I can send an email to that teacher. I can start a Teams chat with them. I can see what the instructions were. I can see what the feedback they gave for Susan was. I can see what the mark is as well. So if I just find one here that's been populated, I can see the mark here. I can see what the feedback was for Susan, and I can give that student the support that they need. So again, it's a great way of being able to track those assignments without being in all of those class teams. So you've got your central resource areas to check the quality of resources. You've got the assignment analytics to check that work's being set and to the right standard. But then if you did still need to observe a lesson and you wanted to drop yourself into a team temporarily, then we have got the cover tool. And this lets you grab a teacher who doesn't normally teach a particular class. And I can drop them in there for either a day if they're just observing a lesson, for a week if maybe they're off self-isolating, to the end of term if I want to. It's entirely up to me, or the end of the year. And as soon as I click save, that teacher will be instantly added into that class team, then automatically removed on the next date that we've selected. So you get a nice audit log at the bottom as well, so you can see what's happened. You can use that for cover. You could use it for just observing lessons or dropping into a team temporarily to help a teacher. While I'm in here, I'll just quickly show you some of the other tools that you might find interesting. So there is a site creation tool in here where we can create team sites or communication sites. And inside here, I can create a site just by giving it, for example, a title, give it a team template, put it on the menu, put the owners and members, click save. And what this does is it will create a private team, not a public team, so you don't get your accidental data breaches. It'll create it in the right naming format, a consistent format. It'll add it to the menu, add web parts to the page to give you a good starting point. And it means that you can do this even if you're not a SharePoint or Teams admin. This access can be delegated to you without you having admin rights on the site. So just to quickly jump back into Teams, so we automatically create your class teams, your subject teams, and your department teams, as well as an all staff team and an all teacher team, automatically driven from your MIS data. We can also bring that SharePoint intranet directly into Teams as an app. So you don't even need to leave SharePoint. You don't even need to leave Teams to access a SharePoint intranet. I can just access it from within Teams itself. So just looking at the packages that we offer, everything I've showed you today is in all of the packages that we provide. The only difference is the user adoption and the training aspects. So with Gold and Platinum, we provide trainer-led online workshops for your staff where they get an instructor in small groups to help them do some tasks. They've got a course to go through and they get their Microsoft Learn badges and their CPD certificates for attending those. There's also a self-service training portal that comes with Gold and Platinum. And that's a button that you get on your site where you can access some self-directed CPD courses as well. So I can go into this training portal, I can have a go at one of the courses and do the quiz at the end to get my CPD certificate, and you'll get that emailed to you instantly, and you also get an official CPD certificate from the CPD authority. With the Platinum solution, you get everything that's in Gold, but you get another day's worth of training, so you can cover more staff in smaller groups. And we also do a digital strategy report for leaders as well, with some ongoing training options. So as part of our user adoption program, besides the CPD certified training, we also do digital strategy reports, and this is where we find out how people in your school are using Teams and SharePoint and the tools that we provide, and we give you some feedback on how to improve that. We do that by interviewing some curriculum leaders at the school, creating a report for you to view, and we do that on a regular basis throughout the year. So we do some adoption meetings, we do some digital strategy reports, and the idea is that over that year we're moving towards good adoption for everybody in the school. So in terms of next steps, what we do when you place an order is we bring you into that planning team. We set up that introduction meeting with you. We have a review of what we set up, and then we'll do a technical handover for your technical team, teacher learning handover for your teacher learning team. You're ready then to go live whenever you're ready, but you've got the ongoing support throughout the year and also the CPD certified training to book in as well. If you have any questions or if you want to get in contact further, go to our website www.clouddesignbox.co.uk and go to the contact page, and you can fill in the form there to get in touch with us. There's also a phone number on there if you want to give us a call, and an email address if that's how you want to get in contact with us. So I hope you found that useful, and we hope to hear from you soon.